This is Talk on the Block. Good afternoon to you and welcome. Already somebody's on my telephone. I haven't even introduced the subject, but I guess this person seemed very anxious to say something to us. Hello, are you there?
Yes, man. Good afternoon, man. How are you doing today?
Good. You seem like you wanted to say something to us.
Absolutely, man. Good afternoon, man. Once again, to your Dominica listeners, this is Jason here from Mr. Fontaine from La Plaine here. Matt, as you know, the Prime Minister came to La Plaine in the week, pledging $1 million to the Eastern District and also 75 flushing toilets, which will be $330,000 to the village council going to be allocated so that that project can start up. But Matt, the council was invited to that town hall meeting, and I made it there. I did not really want it to go, but as an elected member of council and as a representative of the people, I went to the town hall meeting. But Matt, while I was sitting there, listening to the Mr. Peter Serjeant, I'm not even going to call him honorable because he doesn't deserve honorable. I'm going to say it like this. Mr. Serjeant started there. He gave his speech, and the Prime Minister spoke last. Matt, did you know that Mr. Serjeant spoke, and he said that there are 7 houses in La Plaine being built, and are finished almost recent, and will be handing over the keys to the individuals. Matt, he declared and officially called those houses, Mr. Serjeant, the Dashing houses. The Dashing houses, Matt. The 3 men that was allegedly bitten in the Peter Serjeant's garage. Now, formally at a town hall meeting, I was sitting right at the front. The minister is calling the houses that he built in La Plaine the Dashing houses. And Matt, there were some people in the audience who stood up and said that my house that you built is, then we're going to call it Dashing too. Matt, not in the list. The Prime Minister spoke at the beginning of his speech, endorsing that what Mr. Serjeant said.
I heard the Prime Minister, yes.
He endorsing Mr. Serjeant on the Dashing houses that he built. What a complete disrespect to the La Plaine people. What a complete disrespect. And they're letting the country believe that La Plaine is okay and La Plaine is fine. Let me make it clear to the entire public that the La Plaine people is not stupid. And if they want to come and dish out money, I'm advising them to take it. Take it all. Take it all. But $1 million that the Prime Minister has set the bar for every constituency now to ask for more than $1 million. The man is dishing out money like food, like chicken in a cage, and you're just giving money. Where is he getting all that money from? And he came and he said at the town hall that he ain't going nowhere. The votes takes him out and stuff like that. I'm encouraging the public and the entire community of La Plaine, do not be bought by this political intimidation. And Peter Serjeant has known that he had been shooken in La Plaine by me. And I'm telling him that he needs to apologize to the La Plaine people for going in a public forum with his Prime Minister and calling his houses Dashing houses, which is mocking what he did. And the Prime Minister is endorsing what he said and even making it clear to the people that the houses are Dashing houses. Mr. Prime Minister, shame on you. Shame on you. Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right, let's see if we can take another phone call there. Hello. Yes, sir.
Matt, I cannot blame the Prime Minister and the other ministers for behaving that kind of way. I blame the people, Matt. The people are the ones who have to bear the grunt of that blame, Matt. Because they sat there, and I heard some people applauding to some things that the Prime Minister was saying, Matt. Right? So we cannot blame them. We cannot blame them, Matt. And, Matt, I'm asking, the money that the Prime Minister has given out to the various constituencies, is it larger checks or is it government checks?
Well, it's promised money. I can never tell you if it's checks or anything else. Yes, it's money promised. Okay. I don't know that at this time. All right, caller, thank you very much. We are moving on. 1:11 is the afternoon time. We move on. We heard this morning, or sometime last week, that the government of Dominica says it is seeking to lower the amount of should we say the government of Dominica, let's just say the finance minister, Mr. Skerritt, Roosevelt Skerritt, is seeking to lower the amount of money paid in taxes by importers in Dominica. Finance Minister Skerritt, speaking directly to taxes paid on imported vehicles, said Cabinet will be reviewing the way in which these taxes are calculated. Now, this has actually caused a firestorm on Facebook after the Prime Minister made those comments re taxes on imported vehicles. Some people felt, including a car dealer, that the Prime Minister was very wrong in calculating the figures. But let's first listen to the Prime Minister when he spoke to students, Northeast Comprehensive School, last week. Apparently some major announcements were made there. But those of you who are very good with maths, you could do your calculation, okay? And maybe call in and weigh in on your own interpretation here. Let's listen to the Prime Minister as he calculates these imported taxes to students. Some maths teachers, according to what I'm hearing, their eyebrows were raised. Let's listen.
With respect to port charges and so forth, obviously, some of them enjoy duty free. So whatever they bring in, they don't pay taxes on it. But it can be a concern for small businesses in some cases, because there are some items and there are some products that we do not extend duty free concessions to. And so that when a person brings it in with already an imported price of inflation, and you add the duties, it can be pretty expensive and so forth. So vehicles, for example, in particular, and because the taxes are compounded, you understand what I'm saying? So you may have 40% on a vehicle, duty, VAT is 15%, and excise tax is 28%. And it's something I'm looking at to see how we can change, right? 28%, right? So your vehicle is 10,000. So that's the customs valuation. They put the 40,000 on that 10,000. Then they put the 15% on that 10,000 plus the 40%. You know what I'm saying?
Let's take it again, Prime Minister. Let's take it again. Let's take it one more time. If you're a math expert, then work it out for me, please, okay?
With respect to port charges and so forth, obviously, some of them enjoy duty free. So whatever they bring in, they don't pay taxes on it. But it can be a concern for small businesses in some cases, because there are some items and there are some products that we do not extend duty-free concessions to. And so that when a person brings it in with already an imported price of inflation, and you add the duties, it can be pretty expensive and so forth. So vehicles, for example, in particular, and because the taxes are compounded, you understand what I'm saying? So you may have 40% on a vehicle, duty, VAT is 15%, and excise tax is 28%. And it's something I'm looking at to see how we can change, right? 28%, right? So your vehicle is 10,000. So that's the customs valuation. They put the 40,000 on that 10,000. Then they put the 15% on that 10,000 plus the 40%. You know what I'm saying? And then they put the 28% on the 10,000 plus the 40%, plus the 15%, plus the 28%, and then they give you your stuff and so on. What we're seeking to do, Mr. Stewart, is to see whether we can have the 40% on the 10,000, have the 15% on the 10,000, and have the 28% on the 10,000. And that will certainly reduce, in my respectful view, the cost of business in our country insofar as port taxes are concerned.
Prime Minister, I'm a little confused, so I want to do that again, okay? So everybody can have their pens and their papers ready, so we can break it down all together, okay?
So forth. Obviously, some of them enjoy duty free. So whatever they bring in, they don't pay taxes on it. But it can be a concern for small businesses in some cases, because there are some items and there's some products that we do not extend duty-free concessions to. And so that when a person brings it in with already an imported price of inflation, and you add the duties, it can be pretty expensive and so forth. So vehicles, for example, in particular, and because the taxes are compounded, you understand what I'm saying? So you may have 40% on a vehicle, duty, VAT is 15%, and excise tax is 28%. And it's something I'm looking at to see how we can change, right? 28%, right? So your vehicle is 10,000. So that's the customs valuation. They put the 40,000 on that 10,000. Then they put the 15% on that 10,000 plus the 40%. You know what I'm saying? And then they put the 28% on the 10,000 plus the 40% plus the 15% plus the 28%, and then they give you your stuff and so on. What we're seeking to do, Mr. Stewart, is to see whether we can have the 40% on the 10,000, have the 15% on the 10,000, and have the 28% on the 10,000. And that will certainly reduce, in my respectful view, the cost of business in our country insofar as what taxes are concerned.
I don't profess to be a financial expert or math expert at all, but I'm a little confused here. Let's continue.
I give you the assurances that this government is doing everything possible to build an international airport here in the Northeast.
Okay, 118. We'll talk about international airport in a little while, but let's take a few phone calls and let's talk to the math experts who may be able to help us here. All right, talk to me.
Good afternoon to you and your listeners.
Yes, are you a math expert?
The man is a madman. He's a madman. He's on that basis we are telling Dr. Lai to resign.
I'm telling you, I need you to calculate the maths, Cooper. So if you're not a math expert, let people with that kind of understanding give me a call. Hello, talk to me. 449-3095-96 and 97. 449-3095-96 and 97. Maybe you can help us here. Are you there, caller?
Yes, I'm here.
Uh-huh.
Now, we are asking Skerrit to go. So why are we trying to smooth about mistake that he has made? The other day, you find vehicles where people were in problem with all sorts of vehicles, commercial, private, and all kind of vehicles, and he still put duties on tires. These people were so desperate, they don't even know whether they would have made a penny the following day. He put duties on it, and now he's so desperate himself now. Look at what he's doing. He is asking himself to lower the duties on something he just put on the other day. This man is a mad fella. He thinks he's gonna come back next term. Next term is too long, Mr. need to go right now.
I haven't had somebody attempt to speak to the confusion there. Or maybe a lack of understanding. Hello, talk to me. Hello.
Yes, Matt, I taught math, sorry, but I'm not a math expert.
Right.
The math experts, all those math experts, Matt, they will WhatsApp, they will send you message, they will not come out and talk. Everybody is scared for their job. Thank you, Matt.
Everybody's scared for the job. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, good afternoon.
How you doing, my brother?
Matt Skerrit is a madman. Matt, can you imagine we bought a vehicle for $10,000. We paid the custom $22,000 to get it out of the custom. Matt, these things are wrong, and a lot of people getting duty-free, Matt. They're not paying no taxes in the country. The wealth of the country, one set of people enjoying the wealth of the country, and other people sucking salt.
There are math experts out there. And you're right. They might want to WhatsApp. Oh boy. Hello, talk to me.
Hello.
Yes?
It would be reduced by half the price if he does it that way.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone, 122. I'll break it down for you according to my good friend Peter Karam.
Yes, Matt, good afternoon.
Talk to me. Oh, you're bank expert. You might be able to help us here.
Matt, good afternoon. And
Good afternoon to you.
Matt, before that discussion, I worked out something. It was about 114% duty that was being paid.
Right.
Now, according to what he says there, it works up to about 90%, somewhere about there.
Mm-hmm.
That is because initially you had the 10,000, then you add 40% onto that. Now, 40% of that, so it will be 10,000 plus the 40%, and then you add 15% on that, and then on top of that you added something again. So in other words, it is like VAT. VAT is basically what it says, value added tax. So every way along the line, you add 15%. So it's value added. In other words, if you bought something, it came in, you cleared in customs. The merchant who imported it paid 15%. He sold it to you, you have to pay another 15% up on it. Then you use it to produce something to resell to somebody, you pay 15% on top of it again. So basically that is what he's doing. He's saying now, okay, instead of adding the 40% on the 10,000 and then add the 15% to the result of that, and then add another percentage to the result of that, he say, okay, you have 10,000, you add 40%, and then you add 15% on the 10,000, and then whatever else you add is on the 10,000. So all the taxes are on the 10%, not on the thing. So I calculated about 85-90% what he just said, but prior to that I calculated about 114%.
Okay. Here's how Peter Karam, of course, he's an expert in the field, and he has broken it down in this way. But let's take another phone call. I'll share with you, and he is basically saying to the Prime Minister, I'm trying to get Peter to talk to me. He's the expert. He has been calculating all the taxes on imported vehicles for a very, very long time. Please, he says to the Prime Minister, fire your Comptroller of Customs and your Financial Secretary for embarrassing you on that day. They both deliberately misled you. The correct method is as follows. But before we go to the method, let's take a phone call. Hello.
Hello, good day.
Hi.
So basically, I think that the Prime Minister is basically trying to confuse the people as well, because he is not using the correct terminology while explaining this. So that is why it's so confusing to us. And as young people, we are getting more educated, and I believe that he should be able to express the terminologies used if he is going to...
He should have broken it down in a more simple way for the students.
Correct.
I think the students were very confused after they left the classroom that day. Okay. So according to Peter Karam, who's the expert there, their PM, he wrote an email to the Prime Minister. Please fire your Comptroller of Customs and your Financial Secretary for embarrassing you today, meaning the day he spoke to the students. They both deliberately misled you. The correct method is as follows. The value of the vehicle, as you stated, PM, $10,000. Customs service, 2% on the value of the vehicle. Then you add number 3, environmental tax over 5 years old. If the vehicle is over 5 years old, you pay an additional $3,000. So you're paying $3,000 on the value of the vehicle, which is $10,000. The import duty is 40% of $10,000. Number 5, the excise tax is 28% on 1, 2, 3, and 4 all combined, meaning the value of the vehicle, $10,000, customs service, $2,000, environmental tax, $3,000, and imported duty, 40%. and excise tax 28%. So you pay 28% on 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. Okay, so all combined. And then on this combination, you pay 15% VAT. So it's a total combination altogether of 113% in all. According to Peter Karam, you've been allowing your followers or your plebs, the peasants, the commoners, you have been accepting 95% on their applications to you for relief of import tax, which you so generously extend that, of course, the country have been using or losing millions of dollars. So they pay 95% when they should be paying 113%. Let's take a phone call. Hello. Yes?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, I'm hearing you.
Yes. The Prime Minister should help the people to pay their children to pay their bus instead of talking nonsense today.
Oh, you think he was talking nonsense today? I think he should just have broken it down in a better way. I guess, if he understood it very well, he could have. Hello, talk to me.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
when you pay $7,000 to Japan for a vehicle, and it comes in the port, you pay $11,390 to get it out of the port. That's my experience, Matt, and I don't know what about percentages, Matt.
Because what you're actually doing is paying custom service of 2% and an additional $3,000 for environmental levy. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. And of course, import duty 40%. So that's why it's adding up to so much. Hello, talk to me. Yes?
Mr. Pelkey.
How are you, sir?
I call Louis Robinson was afraid as a mathematicianist too because he afraid they fire him so he called late. Let me tell you there with me, Matt?
I'm here.
But Peter, all due respect due to you. Do you think, as I said, the brother is impulsive, and I am not a mathematician, so I stayed away from the calls. Matt, I will not say. But let me say something, Matt. Do you think he need the people who Peter asking for him to fire to intervene in his intervention or his projection of promises, Matt, of that foolishness? To me, I was confused. I'm not a mathematician. But, Matt, I was confused. I was wondering where he was going. But that's his problem. He usually delves into waters and areas where he has zero profession or zero...
But my friend Peter is saying that the Prime Minister is getting some wrong advice.
No.
And the country is losing millions.
No, he's impulsive. He gets a sudden urge to say something, so he usually go with it and get himself all entangled in a web of lies and deception. True, he tried to be spontaneous and deceptive in his whole, impulsion to just come out and say things and think he have an authority on everything. When he doesn't understand, you leave well alone. I know I am dumb. You think I want to get into mathematics and all of that? Have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Matt, the brain can do it for him, and Kelly the goose. Both of them can check it for him.
You think they would be able to?
Yes, they can do it for him because they like to defend him.
Caller, thank you very much. It's 1:31 in the afternoon.
Matt, good afternoon to you and the listening public.
Ma'am?
That is education our children need and proper facilitation to enhance their education. The sea blast that they have to pass in every time the sea is rough and the leakage of the school and the auditorium. That is what the children he was speaking the garbage to need at this point in time. They're not in no position to buy any vehicle. The education come first. That is what they need now, not vehicle. They think he can force everybody. Their parents who he is victimizing and they cannot help their children in the proper way to go to school. That is what he should tell them about. Shameless piece of shit.
Watch it. Watch the language, huh? 132, I'll apologize on your behalf. Hello.
Greetings, brethren.
Yes, my brother.
As far as I'm concerned, the country, the state, the government is not investing in importing vehicles. So they're not losing anything in terms of taxes. They're not losing anything. 110%, that is robbery. And the people should not be paying up. Why are these different pieces of taxes?
1:33 in the afternoon. Of course, we heard the Prime Minister with his proposal for import duties on vehicles.
Respect to port charges and so forth. Obviously, some of them enjoy duty free. So whatever they bring in, they don't pay taxes on it. But it can be a concern for small businesses in some cases because there are some items and there are some products that we do not extend duty-free concessions to. And so that when a person brings it in with already an imported price of inflation and you add the duties, it can be pretty expensive and so forth. So vehicles, for example, in particular, and because the taxes are compounded, you understand what I'm saying? So you may have 40% on a vehicle, duty. VAT is 15%, and excise tax is 28%. And it's something I'm looking at to see how we can change, right? 28%, right? So your vehicle is 10,000. So that's the customs valuation. They put the 40,000 on that 10,000. Then they put the 15% on that 10,000 plus the 40%. You know what I'm saying? And then they put the 28% on the 10,000 plus the 40%, plus the 15%, plus the 28%, and then they give you your stuff and so on. What we're seeking to do, Mr. Stewart, is to see whether we can have the 40% on the 10,000, have the 15% on the 10,000, and have the 28% on the 10,000. And that will certainly reduce, in my respectful view, the cost of business in our country.
Hello, talk to me.
Yes, Mark. I'm hearing the Prime Minister talking about duty free, and so on. Retired people who gave all 40, 50 years service to the country. When they ask them for a little duty free, they're not getting it. Their friends and their family, they're giving duty free. Thank you.
So you don't enjoy duty free. 135. I guess it's for select few. They say hello.
So he gave the woman he married their duty free on a jeep when she was not entitled for it. Wicked.
Charles Scopan. Hello, talk to me.
Yeah, no, Prime Minister talks about is what they're charging currently. You have a 10% on the CIS. Okay, right? There's the price of goods. 10%, let's say it is 10% on the goods, right? Now you have to calculate. Well, that's not what they charge you, but you have another. You have consumption duty to pay. You have customs service charge, whatever it is that you have to pay. But what they do is the first import duty charge. Let's say it is 40% or 10%, whatever it is. They calculate it on the 10,000. Now for the other duties, they add the first import duty to the cost, which is 10,000 CIS. They add the cost of the duty plus the CIF would make the cost or the base for the other duties to come. And then you add all this up to get a total. I just want to understand that. In other words, you have a 10,000 as a base for just the first duty, which is say 10 or 20%, whatever it is. Now you add this 10 or 20% duty to the cost, which is 10,000, whatever it is. And so as a base for the other duties, You use the 10,000 plus the import duty of 10 of whatever percentage it is, right? And you calculate the duty on this cost plus the original duty. You understand what I'm saying?
So you're saying he is trying to say what?
What he's trying to say is that the other duties, when you calculate them, you only calculate them with the duty on the first duty.
Okay.
Let's say the first duty has a base of, let's stick to one figure. For instance, he says 40%.
Okay, let's work with $10,000. That's the figure he gave. Yes. Mm-hmm. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Sorry, repeat that again, please.
I am saying that he used 10,000 to calculate the duty. So work it out from there for us.
You know?
You didn't get me.
No.
Okay, the Prime Minister, I'm going to allow you to listen to the Prime Minister, okay? And then you will, I suspect you have some experience in that area, so you will help us. Just listen to the Prime Minister.
Respect to port charges and so forth. Obviously, some of them enjoy duty free, so whatever they bring in, they don't pay taxes on it. But it can be a concern for small businesses in some cases, because there's some items and there's some products that we do not extend duty free concessions to, and so that when a person brings it in with already an imported price of inflation, and you add the duties, it can be pretty expensive and so forth. So vehicles, for example, in particular, and because the taxes are compounded, you understand what I'm saying? So you may have 40% on a vehicle duty, VAT is 15%, and excise tax is 28%. And it's something I'm looking at to see how we can change, right? 28%, right? So your vehicle is 10,000. So that's the customs valuation. They put the 40,000 on that 10,000. Then they put the 15% on that 10,000 plus the 40%. You know what I'm saying? And then they put the 28% on the 10,000 plus the 40% plus the 15% plus the 28%, and then they give you your stuff and so on. What we're seeking to do, Mr. Stewart, is to see whether we can have the 40% on the 10,000, have the 15% on the 10,000, and have the 28% on the 10,000. And that will certainly reduce, in my respectful view, the cost business in our country insofar as port tax.
Are you following this discussion?
Yes, I'm following it.
Okay.
I think what he's saying, I see right now.
Or what he was trying to say, which one?
What he's trying to say is the duties, let's calculate the duties, it is compounded. In other words, they charge you duty on what you've been already charged duty, in other words.
All right. Thank you very much. I have to bring in an expert here to try to break it down in the best way, in the most simple way. I don't profess to be a math expert, so I'll get somebody in here to break it down in the best way. Okay, hello. I tried my good friend Peter Karam, but for some reason he's shy today. I don't know why. Hello, talk to me.
Good afternoon, Matt, and how are you?
Good.
Yes, Matt, I'm listening to you trying to explain something that you do seem to understand.
No, I'm saying that I don't think that he broke it down in the best way. Is breaking it down in the best way, and I don't think the Prime Minister did that.
What happened is that probably you did not understand how it works.
I have it right in front of me from the expert himself.
Yeah, but listen.
Who's telling me that the Prime Minister broke it down the wrong way?
Yeah, what the Prime Minister was saying is that he's thinking of removing the compound interest, the compound rate of tax, the compound. You understand that, what he meant by that?
I am listening to you, yes, and I understand that, yes.
Yeah, so what he's saying is that normally what you would do, you pay the 40% customs service duty. Then with that 40%, if you purchase your vehicle for $10,000, they charge you 40% on it. Then they charge you 28% on it. They put the environmental surcharge and the customs service charge. Then on top of that, that is when they're charging you the VAT. So they're charging you VAT on all the taxes that you've already paid. So that makes it compound.
All right, we understand you, and I think you're breaking it down in a very simple way. Did you understand the Prime Minister breaking it down in that way?
Well, I understand exactly what he's talking about.
No, but are you telling me that you think he broke it down in that way?
So what I'm saying is that if you had not enough clarity in what he was saying, I can clarify. Do you wish that I clarify?
No, I think you're doing a good job what I'm saying, but do you think that he did it in the way that you did?
No, I understand it. I understood clearly what he was trying to say.
All right, well, continue.
Yeah, so all he's saying is that instead of you paying 15% tax on all your taxes when you pay in the VAT, that you will only pay 15% tax on the cost of the vehicle, on the total cost. That's all. So you don't have to pay 15% on all your taxes. So all the taxes would be added separate. So it would be 15% of the 10,000, which is the price you paid for the vehicle.
I always say what you mean and mean what you say. You did a great job, my friend. Thank you very much. 142. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, I think it's simple, what the man is saying, because when you look at it, all the Prime Minister is saying, when you take 40% of 10,000, it's $4,000. 15%.
Go ahead, Mom. You're on the phone.
So when you get 40% of 10,000, you add that, it's 4,000. You add the, hello?
I'm here.
You add the 4,000 to 10,000. So that makes it 14,000. Then you take 15% of 14,000. That is 2,100. You add the 2,100 to 14,000. That is 16,100. Then you take 28% of that. And then you add up everything. It comes to 10,708. But when you did it the other way, taking it straight on 10,000, it comes to 8,310. So your savings.
Ma'am, you're on the phone. Just continue talking. Anyway, I suspect we lost you. All I'm saying in the most simple English language, when you explain things to kids at that level, do you think that they would have understood what was said? Hello, talk to me. 449-309. I'm going to play that the Prime Minister clip again.
And so forth. Obviously, some of them enjoy duty free. So whatever they bring in, they don't pay taxes on it. But it can be a concern for small businesses in some cases, because there's some items and there's some products that we do not extend duty free concessions to. And so that when a person brings it in with already an imported price of inflation, and you add the duties, it can be pretty expensive and so forth. So vehicles, for example, in particular, and because the taxes are compounded, you understand what I'm saying? So you may have 40% on a vehicle duty, VAT is 15%, and excise tax is 28%. And it's something I'm looking at to see how we can change, right? 28%, right? So your vehicle is 10,000. So that's the customs valuation. They put the 40,000 on that 10,000. Then they put the 15% on that 10,000 plus the 40%. You know what I'm saying? And then they put the 28% on the 10,000 plus the 40% plus the 15% plus the 28%, and then they give you your stock.
145. Is there not a simpler way? 145. Where are the mathematicians out there? Hello, talk to me. How are you, sir?
What about you?
Good.
And good afternoon to your listeners. The caller before the lady a while ago, he said that he understood what the Prime Minister
was trying to say.
But he should have said he understood what he was trying to say. Not what he said, what he was trying to say, because this is why everybody can be professional and everything. I think if the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, cannot explain something, there is no need trying to explain it. Bring the professionals. I don't know if you remember
somebody said the Prime Minister should stay in his lane.
Right. I don't remember once he tried to give the weather report. So this is why you have a country where everybody have their assignment. And the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance should be properly briefed to deliver something to students or to anybody. And therefore, when he speaks with authority. Now, even though he can do it that way, then some professional in that field should come. That's the point I'm getting, because it's pointless go there and say things just for excitement and just for trying, to show that you are interested in reducing taxes. So not what he said is what he was trying to say. And if he did not say it better, the way in which it should be said, and we called her before the lady a while ago, she has come and explained. So I think he also did a great job. So I think the current idea of it is also what matters. It's how it works out. If the Prime Minister is not aware, not sure, we should leave this alone. That's the point, I think.
All right, caller, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We try to break things down in the most simple way. I know my friend, that may be talking to me is not the top math expert, but we'll try to get something from him. We have just about 13 more minutes, and believe me, I'm gonna take this up again and bring in the experts. Maybe the tax, maybe get something from the VAT office and customs, and break it down the best way we can for the layman on the street. Maybe a little more confused now than he was before. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
My name is Robin.
Robin, yes.
Yeah, and Matt, you see, this thing in first in Dominica, we have a lot of ignorance. And I figure you should check out broker before we have everybody the same what they want. Right? I'm kind of ignorant too, I must admit.
Yes.
But I could give you figures, Matt, as to my experience dealing with customs. The amount of duty we actually paying for used vehicle in Dominica, adding the consumption duty and tax of $3,000 is at least 170%. You hear me?
Yes.
Right? It's at least 170%, not 150, not 140. And that is highly immoral for government to do that. I'm not encouraging that because of the situation now, we're not producing. So the Prime Minister talking because he wants to see more vehicles imported in the country. And Dominica doesn't produce enough things to be importing all that vehicle. I just bought a vehicle, Right? You hear me?
I'm here.
And from my experience, I ordered vehicles before. And for instance, some vehicle I order sometimes it was just over $10,000 EC landing here. And the duty on it is $17,000 something dollars. Right? So that represents a figure of over 100%. That's what we're paying in Dominica. Some of the people he said are not paying taxes on those duty-free vehicles. Is a mere $2,000 these people saving. And he think he buying loyalty. Right? He's not buying loyalty. People don't buy loyalty. And he's wrecking the economy by all those bad decisions that he's making. We just three things there. Bring down the cost of the duty of the vehicles. But at the same time, we need to push before we could order all those vehicles into Dominica. Because there's a lot of people have vehicles and they go nowhere. Right? You could say me too. But I probably need a vehicle because of my line of work. But what I'm saying, Matt, this guy is destroying Dominica's economy. And we're paying actually over 170% duty on a used vehicle.
But I'll tell you what, because we have to move to another subject, we have 10 more minutes. I will try my very best to break it down in the best way by bringing in the experts. I don't profess to be an expert, but I think there's a little confusion there. And some people are interpreting what they think the Prime Minister might mean. So we'll bring in the experts so they can break it down in the most simple way. I hope they will come. Some people are actually shy, once it has to do with challenge, taking on what the Prime Minister says, they feel intimidated. I don't know why. But I'll continue to say what you mean and mean what you say. The local man really needs an understanding. Ronald Charles, I'm sorry I had to introduce you, through all the confusion going on, but you don't profess to be a math expert.
I'm staying well away from this one. I'm nowhere.
I'm not in math was not your favorite subject in school.
Not at all. Basic maths for sure.
Yes.
And sticking to the basic figures is one that I have learned to envelope and leave it simple. Anytime I have the complications, I call the experts. You
call the experts. I'm trying to do that at this time.
Yeah.
All right. So somebody's even giving me the computation, but we'll do that some other time. I'm happy that we, people are thinking. We have them thinking this afternoon, running to paper and doing the things that they do at this time. But we'll take it on. I promise you. Peter, I'm going to drag you in here. You've been dealing with cars for all your life. I'm going to drag you in here. Maybe another car importer. All right, Ronald, what's up? What's your mission this afternoon? We have a few minutes.
Matt, thank you for having me, and thank you. Good afternoon to all your listeners. Dominica by extension. I'm always happy to be in the studio, Q95. But just a couple quick announcements, and we'll go into probably details. One thing that I must say, and that's the first place we're breaking the news, is that we have the Cycling Caribbean Championship representative or the president, Mr. Trevor Bailey, who will be visiting Dominica on the 18th to the 22nd of this month. And basically he'll be looking at the whole issue of cycling. We'll be doing some workshops, and we're taking this opportunity. We'll go more in detail some other time, sometime this week, with our PRO, Mr. Chester later. We will then go in details. But basically what we're saying to all the cyclists in Ireland, every single one of them, is to be prepared for that event. It's on the 18th to the 22nd. It's in the form of it's a seminar style, and there is a lot to learn about cycling. And we've been saying it last year. I know the association is relatively young. However, we'll be hosting the 2017 Eastern Caribbean Championships. So we are we're doing all the background work to make sure that come through. So just that quick announcement. The other thing I wish to speak of, now I want to extend a big thank you to the residents of Mount Prosper and Roseau Valley by extension, because there were some persons from the other area, that is the Roseau Valley, visiting the meeting that we had last evening in Mount Prosper. But I think that our leader, Mr. Lennox Linton, did a presentation that every single news outlet should to try their best to get a hold of it, because I believe it will bring a nice balance to all what is happening. And I also feel it's a form of education, and it's a wonderful presentation, and I hope and pray that we are able to get more persons, to view that presentation, or to get a hold of it, or to listen to it. I think this is excellent, and we had a wonderful turnout. A lot of people from Mount Prosper came to the meeting. It was a well-conducted meeting, well-attended, and I want to extend thanks again. Our parliamentary representative, the past parliamentary representative, that is Mr. Norris Charles, was there. He gave some strong words of encouragement, and we will continue to educate hamlet by hamlet, constituency by constituency, and village by village. So I will be moving to Loda next, and we will announce the date that we'll be having it in Loda this week. We are looking at Wednesday, and therefore we will have that event. Matt, what I really came here to speak to you about is what I call an important community program, or an important community event, and that is for beloved Mr. Kurt Hector. I know that Kurt Hector has been in the Lucas Band for the past 25, 26 years, and he has been a very love community person. As we all know, that Mr. Hector is not very well, and he's a patient at the Princess Margaret Hospital. I do know that the results of, we are trying our best to see what help we can give him. So I have decided, together alongside the Lucas Band, we've decided to have an event. That event is on the Saturday the 18th of March at the Trafalgar Community Center. And that is to raise some funds for Mr. Kurt Hector. I must say that we have been asking a number of persons to come on board. And before that you make mention of the event and the type of event that we're going to have on behalf of him, we have been getting some really, really good positive feedbacks. And the Calypsonians, for a matter of fact, if more than 60% of the Calypsonians have given their endorsement, and they will be coming to the event and will be participating in the fundraising activity for him. What we have also decided, Matt, there are quite a number of persons in that area, in the Roseau Valley area, that is not well too, and some of them need some help as it relates to their health. and we will be extending some of that contribution to them. The persons sometimes don't want, their names to be out there, and then we have to respect that. But however, that will be making that financial contribution. So we are asking, Matt, I know it's the Lenten season, I understand that. But we also have taken a decision that we will not be serving alcohol. Huh? We will be doing this as a form of community effort. So we're asking every single person from the Roseau Valley. It's not a Ronald Charles thing, neither it's a United Workers thing, neither it is a labor thing. It is a community thing. And I'm expecting everybody to participate. The event starts at 6 o'clock. We'll have live music. The Lucas Band will be there. Remember, Kurt is a member of the Lucas Band. He's not well. And therefore, we're going to see what we can do in our capacity. We do know that health is a serious issue in Dominica. When we say a serious issue, that a lot of times that persons fall ill, they have to be transported overseas, or they have to go overseas for further medical care. I do know, and I get some information that some efforts are being made to probably send him overseas. I am not, I'm hoping that is the case, but in the interim, as a community, I am extending my invitation to every person in the Roseau Valley, and by extension, Dominica, to come up to Trafalgar on Saturday the 6th of Saturday the 18th, of March at 6 p.m. in the afternoon. We'll have live music, we'll have food, we'll have juice, we'll have quenchy, we'll have whatever that we can get. And the good thing is, Matt, is that I've also went around the communities in the Roseau Valley, and we're requesting every shop, every restaurant, everybody have to. There's no choice in this one. Make a contribution towards this event. Be it chicken, be it plastic cups, be it soft drink, be it water, whatever it is. I'm going further to say that I've asked some persons to volunteer to be part of the cooking and so forth, and they have agreed to do so without, they're just ready to go. So we're asking everybody to come up to the Trafalgar Community Center. Let us do something that is of a community spirit, that embrace and do something positive. And I don't want to even hear and I'll think of persons that are going to use it and try to make it political, because I'll get upset. Not only I'll get upset, but I'm also saying for the record, and I know people listen to Q95, the biggest station on island, that everybody have to get on board, and therefore, if you want to get in touch with me, my number is 276-2421. You can call this number so that we can put whatever you want to contribute towards that event. We'll be more than happy to accept it. And we want everybody to come. We're also going to ask the churches to provide some choir groups so that they can come and sing, and they could be part of this event. So it's not it's an open, open door kind of thing. Contributions will be made at the door, and we're asking persons to do it just for Kurt. Our nice little partner called Kurt. Kurt is a well-loved person in the community, but more so, he always goes out, the extra mile to help people too. So now is the time for us to come as a community. And when we do it for Kurt, we'll be extending it to other persons who will need the help. There's a few persons that I have on my list that would rather their names not be called, but I will be making that necessary contribution to them. Matt, all in all, I want to thank you for the opportunity. And whenever you get the chance to announce it in my absence, I want you to take that opportunity. So all this week, we want persons to understand that we're going to make a special effort to do something for friend Kurt, and do it in a way that we can come together, sell some food, and make a contribution to him. Matt, thank you for the opportunity.
Anything to help, bro.